Hussein Farhat just dropped a bombshell that exposes Greg Doucette's biggest lie yet, shaking the entire fitness world. We have Hussein Farhat, a social media sensation who gained a staggering 60 pounds of lean muscle in under 3 years while claiming to be completely natural. To put that in perspective, that's more muscle than most enhanced athletes gain in their entire careers. We're talking about a transformation so dramatic that it defies every known principle of natural muscle building. Then there's Greg Doucette, the IFBB pro and fitness YouTuber who built his entire reputation on calling out fake naturals in the industry. This is the guy who made hundreds of natty or not videos, the self-proclaimed police of the fitness industry who was supposed to protect us from exactly this kind of deception. And finally, there's Anabolic Stick, a small YouTuber with just 900 subscribers who had the courage to call out this massive cover-up when everyone else was too scared or bought off to speak the truth. Hussein Farhat burst onto the scene with what can only be described as a superhuman transformation. This guy went from looking like he'd never seen the inside of a gym to having one of the most impressive physiques on social media, all while claiming he was completely natural. Now, anyone with even basic knowledge of muscle building knows that gaining 60 pounds of lean muscle naturally in under 3 years isn't just rare, it's virtually impossible. Even Greg Doucette himself initially said the odds of this happening naturally were 1 in a million. But here's the kicker. That was before the money got involved. You see, Greg initially did what he was supposed to do. He made a video calling Hussein out as a fake natty, correctly identifying that this transformation was beyond the realm of natural possibility. The fitness community breathed a sigh of relief. But then something strange happened. Almost overnight, Greg completely changed his tune. After initially calling Hussein a fake natty, Greg suddenly claimed that Hussein had sent him blood work proving he was natural. Based on this single blood panel sent over the internet by the accused party himself, Greg did a complete 180 and started parading Hussein around as a natty phenom. But wait, it gets worse. Not only did Greg accept this dubious evidence, but he made Hussein a co-owner of his supplement company. Think about that for a second. This is the same Greg Doucette who built his career on skepticism, who always said that single blood tests could easily be faked, who demanded rigorous testing protocols for other athletes. Yet when it came to Hussein, suddenly all that skepticism vanished. Greg went from saying Hussein had 1 in a million genetics to making him a business partner. The conflict of interest couldn't be more obvious. But Greg and Hussein weren't done trying to fool everyone. Their next move was to claim that Hussein had competed in a drug-tested natural bodybuilding show and won. According to their logic, if Hussein could compete and win in a natural competition, that was proof he was actually natural. Here's where this story takes an absolutely explosive turn. While working on his investigation, Anabolic Stick noticed a comment on his video that would change everything. A competitor named Sheriff Saad claimed he had competed in the exact same show as Hussein, same stage, same day, and dropped this bombshell. Nobody got tested. Now this could have been just one person's word against another's, but Anabolic Stick wasn't about to let this slide. He did what real investigators do. He verified the story. He checked Sheriff Saad's Instagram and found pictures proving he had indeed competed at the same show. But the evidence didn't stop there. Sheriff Saad connected Anabolic Stick with another competitor from the same show, Amar Liu, who competed in men's physique alongside Hussein. And guess what Amar confirmed? The exact same thing. No testing whatsoever. In fact, Amar went even further, stating in his own YouTube video that many contestants at the natural show were openly talking about having taken performance-enhancing drugs and nobody was tested. But Hussein admits he never actually got tested. What makes this revelation even more damaging is Greg Doucette's own history of skepticism about blood work and drug testing. In countless videos, Greg has explained how easy it is to fake blood work, how single tests are meaningless, and how proper testing requires randomized third-party protocols over extended periods. When Mattis Fitness was accused of being a fake natty, Greg demanded months of randomized testing by third parties before he would accept the results. Yet when it came to Hussein, Greg threw all that skepticism out the window and accepted a single blood panel sent over the internet. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. Greg applied one set of standards to everyone else and a completely different, much more lenient set to his business partner, Hussein. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, money. Greg Doucette didn't just defend Hussein out of the goodness of his heart. He made Hussein a co-owner of his supplement company. This created a massive financial incentive for Greg to protect Hussein's reputation at all costs. If Hussein was exposed as a fake natty, it would destroy the credibility of Greg's company and cost him potentially millions of dollars. With that kind of money on the line, is it any surprise that Greg abandoned his principles and covered up the truth? As one observer noted, money is the biggest motivator in situations like this. Greg had built his entire brand on calling out fake naturals, but when it came to his own business interests, that integrity went right out the window. When someone with Greg's platform and reputation can be bought off or compromised, it raises serious questions about who we can trust in this industry. The damage extends to natural bodybuilding organizations as well. If the CPA is typical of natural federations, claiming to be drug tested while rarely actually testing anyone, then the entire concept of natural bodybuilding competitions becomes meaningless. Perhaps most disturbing is the impact this deception has on young, impressionable athletes. Hussein Farhat has millions of followers, many of them teenagers and young adults who look up to him as inspiration. When they see his impossible transformation and believe it's natural, they set unrealistic expectations for themselves. Some of these young people will inevitably turn to performance-enhancing drugs trying to achieve similar results, believing that if Hussein could do it naturally, they just need to try harder. Others will become discouraged and quit training altogether when they can't match these enhanced results naturally. What's particularly damaging about this scandal is how thoroughly the cover-up has been exposed. It's not just that Hussein was lying about being natural, it's that Greg Doucette, someone who positioned himself as the industry's truth teller, actively participated in the deception. Greg knew the standards he applied to everyone else. He knew that single blood tests could be faked. He knew that proper testing required rigorous protocols, yet he abandoned all of these principles when money was involved. The fact that Hussein himself has now confirmed that he was never tested at the competition Greg used as proof of his natural status is the final nail in the coffin. There's no way to spin this, no way to explain it away. Greg Doucette was caught lying to his audience, and the evidence is irrefutable. The fitness industry will never be the same after this scandal. Greg Doucette's reputation as a credible voice in the natty or not debate is permanently destroyed. How can anyone trust his judgment on other athletes when he was so easily compromised by financial interests? Organizations like the CPA need to be held accountable for their false claims about drug testing. If they're going to advertise themselves as natural federations, they need to actually test their athletes consistently and rigorously. In the end, this scandal perfectly illustrates Lord Acton's famous quote, "Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely." Greg Doucette had the power to shape public opinion about who was natural and who wasn't, and that power ultimately corrupted him when enough money was involved. Hussein Farhat's own admission that he was never tested has confirmed what many suspected all along, that Greg Doucette sacrificed his integrity for profit. The evidence is overwhelming, the admission is undeniable, and the cover-up has been completely exposed. So what are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more such content.